Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in to another episode of Under Review. We're here with episode 134. Me and Nick just got done watching an electric Rangers versus Astros game here on Monday night. What do you say, Nick?
It was a doozy. Josh H. Smith, the H standing for Hamilton, unloaded on one in the 10th inning. Pimp job of the century. First walk-off of his career, and it came at a very much-needed hour.
Yeah, we need to win this series, and when this episode comes out, hopefully we've gotten another win tacked onto there as well. So keep it rolling. Can't stand the Astros. I'm sure we'll have more episodes about that in the future, but that's not what we're here about tonight. Got another NFL season, Nick. It's coming up. I mean, it seems like it's far away, but it's not. We're gonna have it at some point soon, dude. I think like in
already had the Hall of Fame
right
game
now. Yeah, like in 4 weeks, we're getting the show on the road, and so Nick and I are completely turning our focus here at Under Review to the NFL, as we will be talking NFL pretty much exclusively for the next 5-6 months. So buckle up. Get ready to hear a lot of ranting about the Cowboys. And today, since we love making lists, we're just bringing you another top 10 list that we made ourselves here. And we'd love to hear your feedback. Got a lot of feedback on the last top 10 list we made. So love to hear feedback, comments, anything. Just let us know how it's going, if you agree or disagree, and we'll discuss it and debate it with you if you want. So first, let's get us started with the stat of the week, brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics. As the Olympics are happening right now, I have to throw some Olympics at you. Scotty Scheffler, my guy, the GOAT right now, the number one golfer in the world, tied the course record in France on Sunday, shooting 9 under par, coming out of nowhere and taking gold from the rest of the world. Because here in America, we only win gold. And the stat is he's the first number one golfer to win a gold medal. No other golfer who's ranked number one has won a gold.
Very interesting.
And
obviously,
he dominated.
We do nothing but win over here.
Yeah, and he's crying on the podium when the national anthem was playing. That's a true American, ladies and gentlemen. You know where he's from? Dallas. Okay.
The Big D. The
Born
Big
and raised. D. Yeah. That's my guy. Stat of the week.
And with that, one of the most anticipated events in every single Summer Olympics, and especially this year, was the men's 100-meter dash final, which there was a lot of hype around that one because Noah Lyles, he had been running his mouth. And
that's for sure.
Everyone was tuning in to clown him when he didn't win. But what did he do? He went out there and he won. He won by a clavicle. That was the margin of win. Was clavicle. Okay. Yeah. His torso. All right. He ran a 9.79 and won the gold, and he is your fastest man alive right now.
Yeah. He is. He is fastest man in the world.
Took it from Jamaica.
Jamaica's over here. I don't know what it is. Running
they just
their
breed
mouths.
Speedsters.
But they've been going. They don't like us, and I don't know what it is. But
because we don't let him compete.
I guess so. But Noah Lyles winning that one felt good to take a title from someone. I mean, obviously, Usain Bolt held the title of fastest man in the world. And yeah, you know what? He was, and he set all the records, but he's not anymore.
Here we come.
I mean, he is right. I mean, he is the GOAT still. Right? No one's broken his record.
As we put in our list earlier.
Yeah. Yes. But Noah Lyles is the fastest man in the world now.
Should be winning another one. Or should have. I guess when this episode drops, he might have won another one.
I want him to eat his words when the United States of America wins the men's basketball gold, though, because I don't appreciate that he came out of his own country. You know?
Yeah. When he said, what we're referencing to is back whenever he made his comments about the NBA saying, "World champion of what?" Because he had won the whatever that world track
he won the
tour
world
is
champion.
at that
It was the
point.
world championships. Whenever it was but he was saying here in America we call our championships the world championships. Baseball World Series is the world champions. NBA, they call themselves the world champions when they win the NBA finals.
Well, I mean, it's also because all of the amazing players in those other countries, they come and play here.
Yeah, where are they trying to get to? Here.
Exactly. All the stud basketball players in Europe came here.
Oh, the best
NBA.
Yeah, the best basketball teams in the Olympics right now are made up of the NBA players that we have here in America. So they are world champions, and we need our guys to win gold. And Noah Lyles, congrats, man, but I hope they make you eat your words here in the next week by taking gold. We got to beat China in the gold race, so that's just what our goal is because nobody else is.
We're going to smoke everyone in the totals, but I want some more golds. That's what,
about first place.
That's what this country needs right now.
Absolutely. Let's roll into our list here at Under Review. We made a top 10 wide receivers list. This is going off of last season. So we've got a lot of rookie stud wide receivers coming into the NFL this season that could be very good. Obviously, we don't know how good they're going to be yet. So these are your current guys. We're going to throw the list up here. So this is what we got. And so you know what? I don't think this slide turned out as well as I was hoping. So
you can read the names. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you can.
See what it is. 1 to 10. Let's just use our eyes.
This is not exactly the format we had originally, but we're going to go with it. Number 1 here at Under Review, we think Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the NFL. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is strictly eyeball. I mean, this is what we see on the screen. I'm not here to throw stats at you. I'm not here to do any of that. Okay, he just got paid. He's number 1 non-QB, highest paid player in the league. Justin Jefferson, if you throw a ball, I mean, he got thrown the ball from 5 different QBs last season. All right, he only played 10 games, had over 1,000 yards. I mean, this guy, he throw it anywhere in his radius, he can catch it.
I don't know many people that are disputing that one. I mean, since he stepped foot into the league, he's been one of the most electrifying players to watch. Easily been top 3 his entire career in the NFL, and I think he's been safely sitting at that number 1 spot. Number 2, Davante Adams. He was plagued last year with awful quarterback play.
Very bad.
He had been in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers for a long time where he had showcased his talent, and he still showcased it last year with another amazing season, but he had Jimmy G thrown to him.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Did not pan out very well.
O'Connell.
And then Aiden O'Connell there at the end. So 2 horrendous QBs.
He's always open. Is the thing about Davante Adams. You can throw 3 guys on him. He's always open. I got a lot of respect for Davante as well as Nick. That's why he's our number 2. And if it wasn't for Jettis, he'd be number 1. Davante, though, he was number 1 for a long time. So Jettis just coming along and taking that from him. But I think with those guys, they're a 1-2 situation for sure. A third guy trying to make his case, and he could be number 1 very soon, is Sedarius Lamb. CeeDee Lamb. He came out last season and wowed a lot of people.
Had his best season yet, the best season of any Cowboys player ever. Proving his worth, he was fed the ball quite a bit. He had tons and tons and tons of receptions last year. But
I think he led the league.
It seemed like he put on a clinic week in and week out.
That's clearly Dak's guy, as it should be. CeeDee Lamb is definitely the number 3 receiver in the NFL, and honestly, he's on the come up. He'll probably be 1 or 2 by next season. The only thing is, right now he's at home because the Cowboys don't want to pay.
Have yet to do anything.
We're not here to rant about that, but I mean, CeeDee's not with the team right now. He wants his money. He deserves to get paid, just like Justin Jefferson did, and he had better numbers than Jettas last season. So. It's time to pay him, but we're not here to talk about that. Let's move on to number 4.
Tyreek Hill. He's been the man in Miami for a little bit. He's had Tua as his quarterback, so some decent quarterback play there. The big thing was the switch off from Patrick Mahomes to Tua, and you saw his numbers stay the same throughout. He's just been climbing, and
Yep.
at the first 3 games of the season, he was on pace to have like 3,000 yards or something like that. Or it was it wasn't 3,000, but he was just on pace for some absurd receiver year. He's the guy down there in Miami. He's been one of the best receivers in the league for a while now. Easy number 4. Easy number 4.
Yeah, Tyreek. I mean, he's always open because he's the fastest man in the league, and that's why they call him the cheetah. He's the reason Tua just got paid, and so Tyreek's definitely number 4. Number 5 is Jamar Chase on the Bengals. Quarterback got injured last year. Jamar, though, he's the guy over there in Cincinnati. He is Jamar, but he's Joe Burrow's guy. And the number 1 receiver, him and Justin Jefferson are very similar. I don't think Jamar's gotten as much of a chance to prove it because of T. Higgins on the other side, another great weapon for Cincinnati. But Jamar Chase, you throw the ball in his area, he's going to come down with it. He's a phenomenal receiver, and he's putting up great numbers recently. He also is one who is sitting out right now trying to get paid as well.
It's ridiculous. These franchises need to pay their guys. I don't get what we're doing so long. Holding out. It's like, dude, just let them, just pay them so they can go practice with their team. You're going to eventually, so just do it now.
Yeah,
and save us all the trouble of waiting. Number 6, Mike Evans. He's been one of the sneaky players. Mm-hmm. Just because he's been so consistent and so good for so long that he kind of gets swept under the rug, and Tampa Bay has been a very mediocre franchise other than the 1 year where Tom took him to the Super Bowl. Obviously, you had that, but other than that, they've been kind of middle of the pack to back of the pack, so no one really pays attention to Tampa Bay. But Mike Evans consistently putting out high numbers and just straight up producing at the receiver position.
I think it goes to show when he had Jameis Winston as his quarterback, Tom Brady, and Baker Mayfield, he's putting up great numbers. So, a lot of times you can be like, oh, it's the quarterback. Well, in this case, and with a lot of these guys, it's actually the receiver who's great. And so Mike is just as great with Baker as he was with Brady. So that speaks a lot to Mike Evans. Number 7, we got Deebo Samuel, the Swiss Army knife for the 49ers. The dude, I mean, he's a running back. He's a wide receiver. He's always open. Doesn't matter because the dude just trucks people. He doesn't look super big, but he's a menace on the field. He's killed the Cowboys multiple times, and he's definitely deserves a spot in the top 10 as he is. I mean, he's just all over the place. He's very hard to bring down.
A lot of people comparing him to T.O., the way he runs a football, just because he catches it like a receiver, obviously, but then once he, tucks it and starts running, he kind of turns into a running back and just starts running over people, stiff arming, putting on all these moves. He's been the guy in San Francisco for a few years now. He's got himself a quarterback now in Brock Purdy where they have he got a good connection there, but Deebo Samuel obviously deserved to be top 10 on the list. Number 8, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has been a up-and-comer as of recent up there in Detroit. He really sprung onto the scene late in the season. This was a few years ago. That was when he first made a name for himself. It was like the last 3 or 4 games of the season he had. And then after that, he produced a really, really good season. And then now he's just solidified himself as a number 1 receiver in the league. As a solidified number 1 on his team,
Yeah.
but up there in the top 10 amongst everyone else. He's been a part of that culture change that we've been so ever longingly talking about, ever long oppressed with up there in Detroit, with Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, changing the Detroit Lions organization, changing up the what we're used to seeing. He's been well a part of that.
Yeah, Amon-Ra, he's got a chip on his shoulder just like the rest of the Lions team, and he's Jared Goff's guy, and he's just like, it's not that he's always open, but like he always comes down with the ball. He's just one of those receivers where he's a catch and run guy, but he's also a deep threat. He's just all over the field. Number 9, Nico Collins. So I don't think a lot of people have Nico on their top 10. But the thing is, Nico Collins came out of nowhere last year with CJ Stroud, and the Houston Texans caught everybody by surprise. But Nico Collins was one of the biggest reasons this team was super successful. Obviously, the team all around was great. Nico was CJ's guy. Tank Dell was off and on with injury, and then his season ended pretty early. But Nico Collins, he's just one of those guys that he brings the ball down. So he's not necessarily a speed demon, but he is great when he's covered.
This could be a future lethal duo you're seeing via quarterback and wide receiver. Nico Collins sprung onto the scene this year. Like Joseph said, it was really unexpected. Not many people were expecting a whole lot just because they had, I want to say, high-powered talent, and that's in quotes because it's a lot of guys that were drafted really, really high in their respected, draft or whatever. But obviously it's some first years and some second year guys in there, so you don't really know how they're going to pan out. But
right.
It's a similar situation to what them fellas up there in Detroit have going on, where it's almost a complete 180 as to what we're used to seeing. Obviously, at least in our lifetime, the Houston Texans have always been absolutely horrible. But this last year, they flipped the script, won the division, got a home playoff game, won that home playoff game, and then now, all of a sudden, they're ready to talk about being the best team in Texas, which we got to pump the brakes on that one.
Well, we're not slow down that either.
Dallas, true, but we didn't go anywhere. Okay, we're still in Texas, so
we're still here.
We do play the Texans. I can't think of what week that
Monday
is.
Night
off the top
Football,
of my
week
head.
11.
Week 11. Thank you, Joseph. So the battle for the Silver Boot Classic.
They had to throw us on Monday Night Football
to the NFL. So,
and it's going to be about who's the best team in Texas. It's like, Houston, don't do this. Like, don't do this with another one of your teams. We're not rivals with the Texans. Okay, we're rivals with the Packers, Eagles, Niners, Commanders, and Giants. Those are our rivals. Okay, we're not rivals with the Texans.
That's one thing that they're trying to do but it's like we're not going to play each other in a meaningful game except for the Super Bowl. So
exactly. And let's face it, we're not making it to the Super Bowl this year. So, but they won't see us. Yeah. But I think they just forgot Kansas City was in that conference. So I don't know why we're giving the Houston Texans the Super Bowl already, but they think they're going to make it pretty far this year. Number 10, just another sneaky pick. I don't think a lot of people have him on their top 10, but Amari Cooper, you talk about a guy that's always open. That's Amari Cooper. I mean, I still hate that we had to let him go in Dallas, but he's just been putting up good numbers. He was Flacco's guy. He's Deshaun's guy. He's another one of those guys that it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He's going to produce, and he's been really great. Not as many touchdowns because David Njoku's over there, as well as Nick Chubb, who takes a lot of the carries into the end zone. But Amari Cooper, sure hands, he doesn't really have any drops.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then he's up there with Devontae Adams in route running. He's been one of the better receivers over the last couple of years. You just, not that you forget about him, but it's like he's been kind of he's been performing at that high level for
him and his like Mike
consistent
Evans.
amount of time. So you kind of just, it's just not a surprise. So it doesn't strike
and his team's not like winning a ton of they're in the, you know what I mean? They're in the play. They're contenders, but they're not like Super Bowl contenders. So they're playoff contenders, and so you don't think about them as much because they're not those big market teams that everyone's talking about. But Amari Cooper snuck his way onto our top 10.
But he could be
real ones. Remember,
I was gonna say we do remember, but also Cleveland. They could be, subject to a culture change as well. Similar to what we talked about with the Texans and with the Detroit Lions.
They're in a very tough division.
Not that they're going to be insanely good, but
someone please
better than what we're used to.
Someone please knock off the Ravens in that division this year. I'm begging you. Just anybody boring. Knock off the Ravens.
That's boring.
I'm tired of hearing about Lamar Jackson.
Life was good when the Bengals win that.
Yeah, which I mean, if Joe stays healthy, the Bengals have a real shot at that division. So I'm sure we'll have an episode on something like that coming up. But that's our top 10 receivers coming into the season. So all the rookie receivers out there that are coming in the league are, I'm sure, going to do some damage this year. A lot of first-round draft picks.
Really high-powered receiving core class. So we'll see what happens.
But this is the most flashy.
This is the top 10 list, all right?
Yeah.
This is the correct one.
This is the position to look out for when you do your fantasy football draft as well.
When you go and look at other people's top 10, you compare it side by side with this one and see where they're wrong, because this is it. This is the one.
Yeah, and if anybody still has DeAndre Hopkins in their top 10, that's when I'm like,
Well, that's okay.
I saw a list.
They haven't watched football in like 3 years.
Yeah,
so it's good for them. That's okay.
We thank y'all for tuning in this week.
Anyways, here's like to end our shows on Under Review. I brought you a quote from the Josh H. Smith. He said, "I'm going straight cheese," and that he did tonight. Did he not?
He did.
He just straight up teed off on one, and yeah.
Hey, we got a new Astro killer in town.
Gotta remember.
Right? We got President and Vice President Adolis Garcia and Josh H. Smith, baby.
Mm-hmm. Secretary of Defense, Treasurer, all the above, right here,
Yes,
Arlington, baby.
Thank y'all for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week with another episode of Under Review and hopefully more gold medals from the USA.